Good morning. So, I just woke up, but there is a Captain Planet fanfiction that I've been wanting to read for a while, so let's get into it. Okay, it's called His Planeteers by Demon Wolf. This takes place during the episode Jailhouse Flock, Captain Planet's thoughts on his team of Planeteers. Okay. A night in jail was not something he considered doing in his lifetime. Then again, considering his immortal status, perhaps he should have. But, as he stated, he was a hero, and it was against his nature to break the law and cause harm. And since Greeley had made a legal point, Captain Planet was willing to accept the consequences. Besides, every cloud has, there, every cloud had its silver lining. There we go. And despite the situation, Captain Planet couldn't help but smile as he watched his Planeteer sleep. Despite the hard cement floor and the lack of thicker blankets, they hadn't complained. Instead, when night fell, they simply gravitated towards him and had fallen asleep at his side. Kawame and Wheeler on his right, Linka and Mati on his left. In sleep, his Planeteers looked so much younger than they were. But then, they were still children, still in their teens, and Mati not even there yet. Captain Planet turned his head to look at Kawame and Wheeler. Both his boys had become young men before their time, he reflected sadly. Kawame had been charged with helping his village survive, and he had gone above and beyond the call of duty by helping to plant trees to ensure long-term survival of his people, like the true leader he was. With luck and the support of his friends, Kawame's hard work would not be for naught. As for Wheeler, his past was not unknown to Captain Planet. He knew of the redhead's home life, or rather lack thereof. He knew how many times Wheeler had chosen to sleep outdoors rather than face his father's drunken tirades, and he knew how much pain it caused Wheeler to think of his parents. Nah, I got tongue-tied on that. His father should be so proud, Captain Planet murmured to himself, laying a light hand on Wheeler's shoulder. Too often, children like the Fire Planeteer became delinquents and were lost to society, but Wheeler had prevailed just as Captain Planet had known he would. On his left, Linka stirred slightly, causing the Earth Protector to regard the other two Planeteers in the cell. Some of the Wind Planeteer's blonde hair had spilled out of her ponytail, causing it to fall over her face. As gently as he could, Captain Planet brushed it away, smiling as Linka's features relaxed once more. She had her own share of troubles. To this day, it still made Captain Planet's blood boil to think of scum spiking Linka's food with bliss, with disastrous results. It's been a while since I watched anything Captain Planet. It's hard for me to remember that, what scum and bliss is. Had Scum not fled, Captain Planet would have personally locked Scum away in the smallest cell he could find and thrown away the key for daring to lay his filthy hands on Linka. Mati also stirred, but for a different reason. The young boy's heart was giving off waves of fear, indicating the beginning of a nightmare. With a small smile, Captain Planet laid a hand on Mati's head, gently stroking the boy's black hair while emitting soothing heart waves. "It's all right," he whispered. "There's nothing to be afraid of." Sure enough, the youngest Planeteer's heart was soon purged of fright, and his dreams were calm. Captain Planet had a good idea of what the root of Mati's nightmare was. His youngest boy had suffered the loss of his father and mother at such a young age, but the kindness in his heart had never wavered. If only the rest of the world were that strong. Captain Planet's thoughts turned to one Planeteer who was not in the jail tonight. The others had told him of G's plan to come to the courthouse tomorrow with evidence against Greeley, and he had no doubt all would go perfectly. Yet, if truth be told, he'd rather have all his Planeteers here with him. On impulse, he utilized his heart power and reached out to G. He got an image of her curling up on a makeshift bed on the Geo-cruiser, and breathed a sigh of relief. "G?" Her head shot off the bedding in surprise. "Captain Planet?" "Yes, it's me. Are you all right?" "I'm fine. Don't worry. The plan's going perfectly." If you and the others are behind it, I don't see how your plan could fail. I just want to make sure you were safe." He could see her smile as she laid back down. "I'm fine," she said with a yawn. "Sorry, but fine." "Good. Get some rest then. I'll see you tomorrow." "Sure thing. Good night, Cap." "Sweet dreams, G." He waited until he sensed her deeply asleep before severing the connection with a sigh. Being out of contact with any of his Planeteers was not something Captain Planet was accustomed to. Even when he returned to the Earth, he could always feel his team's presence, not so that not having them close was not a feeling he wanted to experience often. In fact, there were times when he seriously considered simply snatching all 5 of the children up and returning to the Earth with them in tow. That way he could keep them close and safe, where nothing could hurt them. Nothing. Captain Planet remembered all too well when he thought he truly lost his Planeteers. Dr. Blake and Duke Nukem had taken him prisoner, wanting toxic waste in return for his safety. Naturally, the two double-crossed the Planeteers, shooting... There we go. Okay. Shooting down the geocruiser before his horrified eyes. The very idea of his Planeteers being trapped in the burning craft without him to help them had nearly stopped his heart then and there. He hadn't even cared when Dr. Blight revealed her plans to dismember him. She'd shot down his Planeteers, his children. What did his life matter after that? Naturally, the Planeteers had been one step ahead of the eco-villains, but the memory still haunted Captain Planet. How many times had his 5 brave children come close to dying before they called him? He didn't want to know and didn't want to think about how many more brushes with death the 5 would face in the future. Wordlessly, the Earth Protector leaned forward and carefully enveloped his sleeping Planeteers in his arms, mentally doing the same to G, holding them close and wishing he'd never have to let them go. Naturally, he knew he'd have to, and in more ways than one, but tonight he could keep them close. Tonight he could protect them. Tonight they could be his children, and nothing more. Thanks.